Welcome, everybody, to Life in the Fast Lane. I am Andy Lang from wagertalk.com. We got a great weekend. We have a Formula One race. We have a NASCAR race, and both of them are very bettable. So we're going to have the complete opposite of what happened last weekend. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Make sure you leave your comments below. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Comments are really important. Let's Wager Talk know that everyone's watching and paying attention. So even if it's just a thumbs up, or you want to let me know what picks you like for this weekend, because these two races are gettable for sure. Let's start with NASCAR. Little Talladega recap. Ryan Blaney wins stage 1. Chase Elliott wins stage 2. And the race, your top 5 ended up Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Michael McDowell, Ross Chastain. That was your top 4. No takeaways. It's restrictor plate. I really don't like that they include a restrictor plate in the playoffs, but whatever, NASCAR is going to NASCAR. So they put a restrictor plate race for the last race of the season, and then they put one in the playoffs. So I guess they just really like chaos. So Stenhouse Award only got 2 nominees this week, but they're good ones. Formula One, Red Bull did not put enough fuel in the car for Max Verstappen in qualifying. They have to call off the qualifying run when he was going to be on the pole. He was going to be in second place, so he comes over the radio and is just livid, and for good reason. So not really sure how you don't put enough fuel in for qualifying. I get that they're towing the line on that. That was a bizarre one. Definitely cost him the race, because he had to start way far back in the rain. And then Ty Dillon's right side window literally flies off 10 laps into the race. And that's got to be the winner. So NASCAR-y. This is just everything we love about the Stenhouse Award. They somehow can't attach the window correctly, and literally just comes flying off. So congratulations to Ty Dillon and the crew, not getting the car ready, not even having the window attached. It just comes flying right off. So great job, Ty Dillon. You got a win this week, and that is the winner of the Stenhouse Award. Let's go over the playoff standings here. So after Chase, we're going to touch on Chase Elliott winning a restrictor plate. That has got to be frustrating for a lot of the other drivers. So your playoff standings right now, top 4, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, and Denny Hamlin. And your first 4 out, Austin Cindric, William Byron, Christopher Bell, and Alex Bowman. Really hope Alex Bowman is going to be okay. He's going to be eliminated. He's not racing this week. He has a concussion. That's 2 guys in NASCAR, Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman, that have not been racing with concussion. I get why they're holding out Kurt Busch. They're able to get another driver some very valuable laps in there, and Kurt Busch is not really racing for anything. But tough luck for Bowman. Hope he's okay. That situation may be a lot more serious than they're letting on if they're not letting him race in the playoffs. So we hope he's all right. And we're going to the Charlotte Roval this week. Strange track, as they took the Charlotte track and they were just like, yeah, let's put a little bit of a road course in the middle of it. So let's take a look at the top 5 average finishers at the Charlotte Roval. No surprise, Chase Elliott is number 1, but his average finish is 5th. Second is Ryan Blaney, 5.8. Third is Alex Bowman at 6.0. 4, Tyler Reddick at 7th. And 5th is Joey Logano. Just average finish inside the top 8 at 7.3. So Chase Elliott winning the restrictor plate race is very strange. So you've got Tyler Reddick, who wins the first race of the round of 12. He's not in the playoffs. So then Chase Elliott wins the second race of the round of 12 on a restrictor plate race. And now he's the betting favorite to win the Roval. So he's the betting favorite in the last race. And if you looked at the round of 12, you would have circled this one and said, oh, that's a Chase Elliott track. And it is. So if he wins, if he goes out and takes care of business on a track that he's great at, it means there will have only been one playoff winner in the round of 12 and one player in the entire playoffs. So you've got a lot of guys who are going to be going for broke because we don't have all these drivers that are locked in to advancing. The weather looks like it should be good for this weekend. Doesn't look like there's any rain. So I just expect this race to be rough. I think there's going to be a lot of bumping. Guys, you guys are going to have to be going for broke. A lot of bumping. Do not be surprised at the end of this race has some drama. Everyone in the playoffs needs a win outside of Chase Elliott. So you look at these guys like William Byron and Christopher Bell and Austin Cindric. These guys are going to be going for it. Why not? They have nothing to lose. So expect some teams to take some big swings at pit stops and take some big swings at adjustments on cars. I expect it to be chaotic, especially if there's cautions late. The restarts are going to be nuts. And if you have, even if it's just two guys racing for the win, there is going to be contact if they get close enough. There is going to be a bump and move out of the way, especially if Chase Elliott is involved and you have someone that doesn't have a win that's in the playoffs. Oh, they're totally, if they get to the bumper of Chase Elliott, they're absolutely putting him off the track. So I expect this one to be pretty entertaining. Sometimes the Charlotte Roval can be a little boring. It's a little bit of follow the leader. I do not expect that this week. I expect this to be very, very competitive and expect those pit stops to be really, really crazy. There's going to be some teams and drivers that if they're outside on the point and they're not having a good race, expect them to maybe stay out when other guys come into pits. Expect them to do something wonky with tires or do something just to move up, because if you don't have the car set up right on this Roval, you're just going to drop like an anchor. If you get bumped and moved off the track, and you can lose a lot of spots very quick, you're going to have to do something drastic to move up. So expect chaos that makes it fun. I do love betting on these road courses. I think there's some guys that you can absolutely bet on just about every road course, not necessarily Chase Elliott. There's also guys you can fade. There are some really, really bad drivers on road courses. Ricky Stenhouse has a terrible record here. Believe it or not, Ross Chastain has a terrible record here, but he's in a different car this year. Austin Dillon has a terrible record here, and our free bet is going to be fading a big name who is just shockingly terrible here. So don't necessarily look at who to bet on. Look at who to bet against. That can help you in these head-to-head matchups. But there will definitely be plays up at wagertalk.com for NASCAR and Formula One. So just a little side note, I ended up with no plays last weekend. I do not bet the restrictor plate races. And with all the rain and the weather on Formula One, I just did not find any value on anything. And man, am I glad I did, because I would have given out a couple of big time losers on that Formula One race when the qualifying and the rain and everything. So it was a good week to lay off of auto racing, but we're definitely going to get back at it. We're at 60%, having an amazing year. So expect some good bets on the Roval. Let's take a trip to the Slipstream. Let's talk about the Singapore Grand Prix recap. Listen, rain was the big story. It made it for a pretty frustrating weekend. It wasn't fun to watch any of the practices or the qualifying unless you were watching the Max Verstappen debacle. But so rains are out qualifying. Verstappen has to get put in the back of the field. The race gets delayed because of rain. Everyone's on the rain tires. Perez gets a great start to get out in front. Verstappen has a horrible start. And they just get into single file, and it's just follow the leader. It's boring. Lewis Hamilton tells his team that he was right about the tires and that the team should listen to him more. Classic Lewis Hamilton. Just, this effing guy, man. I told you I was right about tires. You guys should listen to me more. All right, Lewis. Latifi, to the surprise of nobody, makes a horrifically dumb move and puts himself out of the race. I did not put this win in the Stenhouse Award, A, because it wasn't going to win, but B, maybe it was a little bit of rain related. So I can't 100% say it was his fault. But it was just the guy is so bad. There's no way he's keeping his ride, and I don't know where he's going to end up. Hopefully it's not in a race car, because the guy is just absolutely awful. Fernando Alonso loses power. His car comes to a stop. George Russell comes in and puts medium slicks on. He ends up being the only one to do that on the pit stops. Doesn't work out that well for him. The race continues. Hamilton gets overzealous, hits the wall, damages his left front. Tsunoda wrecks. Everyone gets bunched up. They're on the medium tires. Verstappen locks up. He goes to the back of the field. So Perez gets out to the lead. Leclerc gets a little close to him, but can't pass him. Perez pulls ahead and gets a fairly easy win. So your podium ends up being Perez, and then the two Ferraris of Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Not too exciting. I thought Perez did a masterful job not giving up the lead. He raced really good, and then Ferrari just didn't have anything for him towards the end. So it's a quick turnaround for Formula One. We're doing the Japanese Grand Prix. They have not raced here since 2019. I read an article where the director of Pirelli was saying that the feedback is this is one of the drivers' favorite tracks. Like all the drivers love racing here. There's an equal amount of left and right turns, so you're putting the same demand on both sides of the car, but it is demanding on the tires. And I checked the weather. Does not look like we'll have to deal with rain on Saturday or Sunday. It does look like there could be rain on Friday, which could be a problem because they were going to do extra testing on Friday with an extended practice. If it gets rained out, maybe they move it to Saturday. But the weekend looks great. And honestly, if the weather isn't an issue and Red Bull figures out how much freaking fuel to put in their cars for qualifying, I just see a big Red Bull day. There are two really, really long sections, only one DRS, which actually kind of helps Red Bull. Those two long sections, Red Bull should absolutely fly on. Last week, it was a golden opportunity for Ferrari, and they did a good job. I thought they did the best they could, but they just could not get around Sergio Perez. Verstappen starting in the back saved him because let's face it, if Verstappen qualified on the pole or second, that was going to be a Red Bull day again. And that was a when you got rain, that's one of the things that can slow down these Red Bull cars, but there's no rain in the forecast. It's a track that's pretty open, which I think is going to lead to a really good Red Bull race. And then don't forget, you've always got Ferrari, who's always looking to screw up their own races. So you can get Max at minus 190. I gave that out on the show, and last week I did not know about the weather. It was going to be that big of an issue, so I wanted to make sure I checked the weather. Weather looks good, so I think you can fire away on Red Bulls. So other than that, I'm probably going to wait until after qualifying. Hopefully we get some wonky qualifying, and we get some guys that are in the back that should move up to the field, as it's given us some really good head-to-head opportunities. All right. Pack can be found on wagertalk.com. We're at 60% for the year. We've been hovering around that 60%, and the units keep flying in. Here's a play that is definitely going to be in the pack, and we're going to do it for free here. Martin Truex Jr. over Kyle Busch. Listen, it's fade Kyle Busch time, guys. He's not going to be with the team next year. He had his entire pit crew taken away from him and given to Denny Hamlin. He was in an accident at the race before the restrictor plate, and now he's at a track that he is absolutely horrible at. Kyle Busch, his average finish the 4 times here is 25.8. This guy has absolutely no luck at this track. I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's skill, but you see any interview with Kyle Busch, and he is so checked out, it's not even funny. This guy really wants nothing to do with racing right now. Martin Truex at least mentally seems to be excited about racing, and he's got a much better average finish up at 14.3. So he's at least near the top with some of these average finishes. So this is just fade Kyle Busch for the rest of the year. He doesn't look excited. His team is probably given up. And Kyle Busch, man, when he has that attitude, it just brings everybody around him down. He's one of those guys that wears his emotions on his sleeve. That can be good. That can be bad, and right now it's bad. So grab that one. That's at DraftKings. But honestly, any matchup involving Kyle Busch, I'm going to be looking to fade. So I don't like betting against the same guy twice with different drivers. That's me. That's my personal rule. So I'm just going to find the best one, and the best one right now is Martin Truex over Kyle Busch. On the weekend, if you see a better one, go ahead and fire away, but it's fade Kyle Busch. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for Life in the Fast Lane. Appreciate everybody for joining. Please leave a comment below. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. Don't forget to check out our new TikTok channel. We've been putting up a ton of content on TikTok, and don't forget to get the Wager Talk TV app so you can watch all of these videos on any device. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Let's have a really profitable weekend. 2 very, very gettable tracks. I'm very excited. I think we got profits coming our way. We'll see everyone next week on Life in the Fast Lane. Thanks, and good luck this weekend.